it's getting better, but we still have a long way to go. And for the women on the higher end of that scale, the really large companies, the ones who want venture capital, women are only getting like less than 2% of the venture capital that's out there. Primarily because the providers are mainly men, and they're just not seeing them, they're not understanding. So, we're pushing hard to get more women into the venture field, to be the providers, and, just to play a role, because that's got to change.
Well, hello everyone, and welcome to the next episode of Real Talk at the Barbershop, a place where we recharge, refresh, reflect. It's an opportunity for us to come in, to learn from each other, to gain from each other, and we're gonna leave here looking good, feeling good, and being good. Let's have a conversation with someone who I think is becoming one of my sheroes. I've known a little bit about this person, but the more I get to know her, the more I know that she's gonna be my new bestie. And it is none other than Monica Smiley, founder of Enterprising Women. Monica, welcome.
Tony, thank you.
I'm so happy that you came into the barbershop.
Can I get a haircut while I'm here?
Yes, you can.
Okay.
You can get a haircut because at this barbershop, we are full service.
I'm loving it. Okay.
You're loving it?
Yeah.
So Monica, Enterprising Women, an amazing organization that has been around for over, 14 years, 15 years,
Tony,
20 years?
Would you believe the magazine is going to be 25 years old next year?
Get out of here.
Yeah.
25
Started in 2000.
years. And you've taken that magazine and built it into this, I know you won't agree with me, but I'm gonna say it anyways. This is an empire that you have built, because it's not just a national organization. You're quite global.
We are, and we like to say it's more than a magazine, it's a community of women entrepreneurs, right? Much more than a magazine.
Give me a little bit about the background and the history of Enterprising Women.
So I'm a journalist and a magazine publisher, going way back since right out of college, way back when. And in the late 1990s, I had an opportunity to make a little transition. I had been publishing a magazine in the health and fitness industry for about 14 years. We sold the publication, and I said, okay, what do I want to do next? And we looked around at the landscape for women entrepreneurs, and there really wasn't a magazine for women business owners at that time. There was a magazine called Working Woman, which if you're old enough, you might remember, right? And they covered everything from women right out of college in their first job all the way through women entrepreneurs. It was too much to do in one magazine, right? So we said there really should be a voice for women entrepreneurs. Women were starting to really come into their own. There had been a ton of research in the mid-1990s. The Census Bureau was just starting to count women business owners to be able to put some numbers around what that looked like. And I'd been a woman business owner since the early 1980s, and I knew there wasn't anything there for us. So, we started Enterprising Women with an idea that it would be a voice for women entrepreneurs. It would be a way to share best practices among accomplished women entrepreneurs. And, it grew because the magazine started in 2000. And in 2003, we started the Enterprising Women of the Year Awards, which is where we are now. So we're now in our 22nd year doing that.
That's awesome.
But so it was, just grew out of a need, right? There wasn't anything there.
So let's talk about the foundation a little bit and what spurred the creation of that foundation. What is the mission of it? What are you hoping to accomplish through the foundation?
So the foundation's about 10 years old. And, I had wanted to do a sister nonprofit to the magazine for many years to really focus on, helping inspire women globally, right? Women entrepreneurs globally. But we had an opportunity to create a program for young women. There was a group called STEM Connector, and a dear friend of ours who's on the board, she's here today, Edie Frazier, started this thing called STEM Connector. And the idea was there weren't enough young women getting into the STEM fields. And what are we going to do about it? So she gathered organizations like ours, Fortune 500 companies, schools, girls-serving organizations like the Girl Scouts, Girls Inc., and others. And they said, we're going to pledge to mentor 1 million young women to encourage them to get into a STEM field and to stay into it, because that was also a problem.
Right.
They get into it, they get discouraged. It's an all-male culture. They don't, and they get out of it. So she said, this is going to be a coalition of people who are helping with that. So we were asked to be a part of it. And of the initial 60 partners involved with it, we were the only one with an entrepreneurship connection. And I said, okay, what can we do? We have this huge community of women entrepreneurs. How about we do some local programs around the country? We showcase local women entrepreneurs who are presidents of engineering firms, presidents of IT companies, healthcare companies, all the STEM fields that we want these young women to get into. We'll showcase them in their local school, give them a panel where they hear them, match them with mentors, and with the idea that you can't be what you can't see.
Right.
And then in the last half dozen or so years, we said, okay, let's go a step further. Let's pinpoint the underserved communities that really need this program. So when we go into a city, we're going to ask, where is this program needed the most? And then we added this scholarship component where we've got this group of girls now coming to our international conference from around the country who are the top girls in their school who are interested in STEM and entrepreneurship. And we've got a group today, we were just kind of joking in the hallway about it, who wants to be a mortician. And we said, do we have any mentors for a mortician? Right. I don't think we do, but we'll figure it out. We'll put her in the healthcare medical area.
Right.
But it's it's an incredible opportunity, and we're making a difference.
I love it. It's very interesting, and I think it's wonderful the impact that you are making, in communities, and particularly in the women's community. And I love what you said about making sure that people are able to see, right? Because you cannot be what you cannot see. And so you're doing this wonderful work. How important is it for enterprising women to play this role of creating opportunities for others to see so that they can be?
I think it's critical. And in the original mission for the magazine way back 25 years ago, we said we wanted to foster mentoring among young women.
Yes.
And so it's always been part of our culture. And in fact, with the Enterprising Women of the Year Award, we look at, are they a financially strong, growing company? Are they a leader in their community? How are they giving back? And how are they mentoring other women and girls? If they don't mentor, if they're not doing something to give back, they don't win.
Yeah.
We just think it's so important to embed that it's not enough to run a great business. You have to do more, right?
Yeah.
You got to give back.
Let's talk a little bit about the challenges that we see when entrepreneurs are starting up, and in particular women entrepreneurs, and the challenges they're having to deal with. What are you seeing most of right now?
Yeah, I think there's still a huge problem around access to capital. Still people having trouble getting the money that they need to get going. A lot of people still relying on credit cards and money from friends and what have you, and going to traditional institutions and just not getting what they need. It's getting better, but we still have a long way to go. And for the women on the higher end of that scale, the really large companies, the ones who want venture capital, women are only getting like less than 2% of the venture capital that's out there. Primarily because the providers are mainly men, and they're just not seeing them, they're not understanding. So, we're pushing hard to get more women into the venture field, to be the providers, and, just to play a role, because that's got to change.
That's got to change.
It's really has to change, yeah.
You mentioned earlier about the importance of mentorship, that you all play a mentoring role. So talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, well, first of all, everybody needs a mentor.
Yes.
I don't care what size your business is. If it's tiny, if it's huge, you need a mentor. And one of the roles that I think we've played is just connecting a lot of people. We have a really large advisory board to the magazine. Walmart's been involved in it for years. And, part of the goal of that is to put people together. So there are 150 women on that advisory board.
Wow.
When they come on, we learn more about them, and we say, okay, what have you accomplished that you could help somebody else with? And what do you need? And, try to come up with a fit there, and you can most of the time, right?
Yes, yes.
And the group, the culture of Enterprising Women is just really open and friendly and embracing. It's that amazes me. People will just say, "Hey, what do you need? I'm there. Can I help somebody else? How can I do that?" They're lining up to mentor these girls. Because we need them at every level. We need them in our Young Enterprising Women program. We need them as they're starting businesses, and we need them all the way up to the billion-dollar businesses, the Jennies of the world, and others who
right.
know so much. So it's really all about sharing best practices.
Yes,
What have you
yes.
learned? How can you share your wisdom? How can you help somebody else?
What are you most excited about this year's conference?
Well, we're our 22nd year, first of all, so I
Amazing.
was joking. If we
Congratulations.
haven't figured out how to do it yet, it's probably hopeless, right? After 22 years. So, we select a group of outstanding women from around the world. We open it up on our website in October every year. We push it. There's no fee to put in an application. We get applications from all over the world, all across the U.S., all sizes of companies. When I think back over the 22 years, the first year we did this event, we had 3 winners. And, we divide them into revenue categories, so they're competing sort of with people of their own size business. And the top revenue category was businesses with over 10 million in revenue. And I called one of the leaders of one of the women's business organizations, Marcia Firestone from the Women Presidents, and I said, where are we going to find a woman business owner with 10 million in revenue? She said, I don't know, Monica, but we'll find them. Okay, all right, okay. So we found somebody. 2 or 3 years later, we had enough women entering with over 25 million. I said, hey, we can raise the bar. Okay, we'll see, we can get more. And it grew. Well, probably about 8 years ago, I said, we have enough people entering with over 100 million in revenue. I think we can make the top category 100 million. Now, for probably the last 4 years, we've had at least one winner with over $1 billion in revenue.
Wow.
So when I think back over 22 years, and how that reflects on the growth of the women's business community, how women have scaled their companies, how they're doing everything in the early years. They fit into a few very traditional categories. And today, you name it, they're doing it. A couple of years ago, we had a woman with an engineering firm, and all she did was have a fleet of drones that counted things. So fish in the ocean, animals in the Andes, they counted with drones. I said, who comes up with these companies,
Right.
It's like a drone counting company. But she won the award.
We are so excited to be partnering with Walmart Business because Walmart Business is all about helping people live better. In this case, it's all about helping businesses live better. So you should check out Walmart Business. Go to business.walmart.com and see what Walmart Business is able to offer. It's pretty awesome, really exciting stuff.
We have a woman winning the award this year from Tanzania who is a beekeeper. And that's the first time, in 22 years we've had one of them. But we got the nomination. She's got 25,000 beehives, 10,000 beekeepers who work for her.
Amazing.
And she's building a manufacturing facility to produce a skincare line that's honey-based. It's pretty incredible to see the diversity of businesses, all sizes from a handful under $1 million in revenue on up, like I said, to $1 billion, and everything in between.
That's
so,
awesome.
Yeah.
You've been really serving, women entrepreneurs for quite some time. I'd like to get a piece of advice from you. What is your advice to women entrepreneurs out there? What's the one little tidbit that you'd like to leave them?
Be brave, right? You have to be brave. I mean, it's tough, right? They're facing a lot, especially women entrepreneurs who made it through the pandemic, juggling caregiving and kids at home and all the stuff going on. Really challenging time for a lot of women business owners. And they got through it, I think, for the most part, stronger, which is great. So I think, being brave, being resilient, being flexible is really, really important. And then think big, right? Think about how you can scale that company. And, there's help out there to do it. There are a lot of resources to do it. Walmart's doing all sorts of great things to help people, right? So the help is there. Stick your neck out and take a risk and be brave, right?
Thank you for coming to the Barbershop. Thank you for hanging out with us a little bit. that people are going to be better than when they came in to the barbershop as a result of you. And so thank you. And so, ladies and gentlemen, I want to thank you for coming and hanging out with us in the barbershop, learning a little bit. And I'm hoping that as a result of this conversation, you are better off when you're leaving the conversation than when you came in. I know that I am. I've learned a little something today. I feel refreshed and revived, and Monica, you have given me so much to reflect on, and so I can't wait to sit back a little bit and to absorb it all and figure out what it is I'm going to take from this, because although I am not a woman, I am still going to benefit from the nuggets of knowledge that you have dropped here today. So thank you, thank you, thank you, thank you. And again, to you, ladies and gentlemen, thank you for being part of this conversation. Please, please, please share this information with someone else. I want to get some comments from you all. What did you enjoy from this conversation? Subscribe, subscribe, subscribe. Like a little something, something for me. We're going to leave out of here feeling better, looking better, and being better as a result of the conversation in the barbershop. So thank you very much, and we'll see you next time.